We've been in the neighborhood known as Asakusa, namely at the Sensoji Buddhist temple complex, which is circled in red on this map. And now we're going to make our way through the Nakamise shopping street. That's the large group of blocks that are fused together with a roof so that it's like almost like an indoor shopping mall, and work our way to Asakusa Station. And from there we're going to go across the Sumida River to the Blue Oval, which is the Tokyo Skytree, and show you what it's like atop the second tallest structure in the world. As soon as you leave the temple complex, the first thing you encounter is the Dempoin Street Business Park, which is the street that is more or less the boundary between the shopping district and the temple complex. And as you can see, it's a very old street. It's compressed dirt, and it's really one of the most beautiful and decorative streets in the entire city of Tokyo. It's just fun just to walk down, even if you don't stop at any shops and buy anything. It's a beautiful neighborhood to see. As you can see, some real antique signs. Just about everything has a roof over it. The signs, whether they're on a post or on the front of a building. So you can see what I'm talking about here. There's a wooden sign up on a post, and then up above it, it's actually got its own roof. Also on the far left, you can see something on the front of a building, and that sign has its own roof. So this is a prayer bell, and it's up above one of the businesses on the north side of the street. Right on the other side of that wall is actually the temple complex. Another thing I forgot to point out is anytime you see Buddhist architecture, there's one of these prayer bells on the point of every roof. Now see here, you can see a couple signs that are flat, and they've each got a tiny little roof over them. And then there's that sign that kind of sticks out from the building, and it has its own roof as well. This is one of the most attractive buildings on Dempoin Street. I really like this architecture, and I like this sign out front. It's a very appealing looking sign. At this point, you've now got pavers rather than just dirt. And here comes a rickshaw. It's very common for people to go through the shopping district by hiring a rickshaw to ride in. Now here once again we see another one of the figurines on the roof, this time a ninja up on the roof. Again, those are very commonplace, especially Dempoin Street. As you're going down that road, there are figurines on roofs all over the place. It's really kind of a neat thing to see. But this is definitely one of the more picturesque shopping areas in all of Tokyo, at least if you're talking about old-fashioned, like an old style. If you want to get into like Shibuya or someplace like that, then everything's neon lights and big picture screens like what you would expect in Times Square. And then on our way to the train station, we go through this area here, the Orange Street Market area, and that will take us back undercover, as you can see. So this is actually, Orange Street is just part of the larger covered market neighborhood. And by going through here, like I said, it's kind of a shortcut. It'll get us back to the train station a little bit sooner so we can get over to the Tokyo Skytree. A lot of really interesting shops in here, but it can get really, really busy. So we finally made our way across the river to a neighborhood known as Sumida City, and we are now at the foot of the Tokyo Skytree, 2,080 feet tall. It's the second tallest structure in the world. It is the tallest tower in the world, meaning there are no floors underneath. If the architecture looks kind of interesting to you, you may have seen it before in some old pictures. So this is designed the same way as the superstructures on US built battleships during the Second World War. So if you go look up some of those pictures, you'll see this kind of a mesh network that holds floors up above it. And here is the view from the top of the Tokyo Skytree. As you can see, we're pretty far out. Those are some really huge buildings. Those are bigger than anything in my home city. And they still look like models in comparison. So we're at a pretty good altitude there. Now the thing you see right there in the very center of the picture kind of looks like a big space station or something. That's actually one of the train stations. So that's one of the things that they're using more or less as like a shopping mall. In this shot, just right of center, you can see a thin red and white pinnacle, a little tower, and that is Tokyo Tower. So it was built in 1958 and was the tallest structure in all of Japan up until the completion of the Skytree in 2012. Now I'm starting to give you some shots looking straight down through the glass floor, so you can see just how high we are on the observation deck of the Skytree. I wanted to draw your attention to this particular shot to show you how schools work. Now, as I mentioned, you're not supposed to photograph schools, but at this distance, it's not like you're going to act on anything anyway, you know what I mean? So you can see a school in the distance. The actual track and field area is at ground level. The area is surrounded by blue, so it looks like it's an athletic field. That's at least 1 story up, so it's actually on the roof. And then you can also see the big L-shaped green roof, and that is area that's used for whatever, cheerleading, some sort of practice for sports. And so, as I mentioned, they don't have a lot of space to waste. They don't have a lot of room for athletic fields. If there's an area to build an athletic field, you probably need to build another building there. And so they put as much of the stuff on the roof as they possibly can. This is another example of a school. So you can see the main athletic field is down on the ground level. But on top of the school building, you can see there's also an additional athletic field up there. And then this is yet another. The main field with the track is down at ground level. And again, the green area. And I can't really tell if that's a athletic field or not, if they're in the green area. That could be actually a swimming pool. We've always kind of failed in the United States at building those on roofs because they always tend to leak. But the Japanese perfected that decades ago. They're very good about building a swimming pool on the roof of a building. This is one of the newest high schools in Tokyo. It looks like everything's pretty much on ground level. And interestingly, the driveway into the school complex is a bridge over the Sumida River. It's kind of a unique way to get into your school. Now obviously, if you can see the Skytree from the Sensoji Temple complex, then you can see the reverse as well. Do you see it? It's right there in the middle. There you go. So there's your 5-tier pagoda. Right in front of it is the gateway, and then to the right of that is the actual temple itself. And then of course you can see the neighborhood off to the left of that, where it is actually covered. You can actually tell the streets are covered. And of course this is looking through the glass floor at the highest observation level on the Skytree. I don't recall exactly what the height of this observation deck is, but as you can see, large buildings down there are just tiny little pinhead sized buildings. It's quite high. So we built up quite an appetite going up top. And so when we came down, we found a restaurant with this enormous meal for under $8. So you can see there's a huge bowl of ramen, and it is extremely large. Of course, it's got green onions, some seaweed. Those are bamboo shoots, slices of pork belly, and then an entire bowl of fried rice along with that. And then each of us got a plate of 6 gyoza. That's the little purse-shaped dumplings that you see in the foreground there. And of course some unsweetened iced tea. So next we're going to go and we're going to meet up with a gentleman named Randy, who we met through a mutual friend, and we're still good friends with Randy to this day. And he's going to show us a couple of the neighborhoods down on the south side of Tokyo, both an old traditional neighborhood and a more modern neighborhood. And that will be the subject of my next segment.